You're listening to Dane and Jeff's Media Dump. Normally I'd say these assholes are the perfect excuse for birth control, but some jackass paid me a lot of cash, so hail to the kings, baby.
Jeff, guess what?
We done fucked up.
There ain't no we about it. I done fucked up. So, haha, Dalton found an error. Dane doesn't know how to record on Audacity. So, we just wasted an hour and we have 2 copies of you talking and no one knows what the fuck I could have possibly said. So...
It was very insightful. I'm a better person now because of it.
So I guess this episode is going to be kind of like that Tenacious D song, the tribute to the greatest song in the universe, because we had such beautiful insights that make absolutely no sense when the only thing you can hear is you talking to the ether. So
shit, I was recording. Oh man, I was talking to my imaginary friend Felix.
But on that note of me sucking, welcome to Dane and Jeff's Media Dump. I'm Mr. Dane Puzzles Esquire, Mr. Puzzles for short, Dane for shorter, and with me today, he slices, he dices, he doesn't fuck up his recordings. Grumpy Jeff. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Probably the one thing that angers me most about all this, no one is going to hear my beautiful intro. The one time you were just like, I'm not ready, I lost my notes, so I did the intro.
Oh.
And now no one's going to be able to hear it.
Well, where I'm keeping both files, that's going to be the stinger, is you taking over the intro and mocking me, and me not being able to defend myself because I didn't record it.
No. Well, yes. But at the same time, it's just like, let's keep it a mystery. It'll be the lost lore of podcasts. That one time Dane and Jeff, in their podcast, Dane fucked up so bad that somehow he was recording me through his microphone.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure how that should happen.
And just let everyone know, we don't live in the same house. We don't even live in the same town. Hell, we don't even live in the same state. And
we're not even in the same time zone.
And somehow you recorded me through your microphone.
Yeah, and if it hadn't been for having to pause for a few minutes to go help my wife do something, we would have recorded this entire episode and never known because I wasn't even looking at Audacity.
And this just would have been a lost episode. It's like, damn you.
So, we lost my awesome joke about how the ending of Twilight is essentially erectile dysfunction. We lost my spot-on fucking Dalton impersonation.
Oh, it was spot on.
As like he was in the room.
I was confused. I thought he was off. I thought he was right next to you off camera.
You people don't get to know about the web domain that we're going to buy. We're picking that one.
Nope, so we're not going to ask you for Patreon help anymore, because now it just doesn't matter.
You don't get to know about why my wife was pissed off at my computer. Let's see, what else did we lose? Just wonderful intro, we talked about that. And
why you understand car people.
Yeah. So, my ability to relate to car people, even though I'm not a car person. And what's in that box that I buried in my backyard. So,
yes.
Yeah, it's all gone. And we can't talk about it ever again because we would be bored because we've had that conversation once before.
Exactly. What's the point of having it? You got to stop living in the past, man.
So I mean, I've given all my updates already, even though they were lost to the ether, so I'm just not going to worry about it. Jeff, how's your updates going? How's home repairs? Any updates?
Well, we'll get to that. First thing is last week I had my cousin's wedding.
Mazel tov.
My cousin's a good dude. I'm happy for him. The venue he and his wife picked. Oh my god, what the hell were they thinking? It literally looked like you were in the prison of Shawshank. The basement of Shawshank prison.
Hole in the wall and everything?
Might as well be. I mean, they're just plumb. Literally, if whatever you could think of, oh, this was a apartment, like a '60s apartment building, the cheap kind that we converted into a wedding venue. So, exposed walls, wiring, plumbing, ventilation, cheap ass brick. Obviously, I know why they picked it because it was cheap. But my God!
Oh look, I got no room to talk on cheap weddings. You know where we got married? Me and my wife. Courthouse.
That's the thing. It's just like if you wanted to have a party with all your friends, it's just like, why didn't we just like go throw a barbecue in someone's backyard or someone, and you could have just gone, save yourself some money, and do it in front of a judge. There's nothing wrong with that. Instead, you have this ugly. But yeah, so that was that. Like I said, I'm happy for my cousin. I wish them a long life, but I'm sorry that venue was horrible. And you had to pick it in a town that just might as well be the slums.
But they love each other, right?
Oh, they do. So like that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I'm happy for you two. I wish you many long years of a happy marriage. But my God, that wedding was terrible. The only good thing was, he and the rest of the bridal party walked down the Shire theme to Lord of the Rings. That's the only good thing.
They look like hobbits.
No, that's the thing. My cousin was in the military, so he's a pretty big guy. But the Lord of the Rings is his favorite movie, so it's just like, I'm walking down the aisle playing the Shire theme. It's just like, you know what? I approve of this. Otherwise, everything after that, the food was fine.
Well, I mean, at least it was better off than my buddy's wedding was when he got married the first time. Because he literally had to go to the preacher beforehand and say, hey, you know that part where you say, if anyone objects, speak now or forever hold your peace? Yeah? Don't say that. There's like 5 people in this room, including my best man, me, who are like locked and loaded and ready to go. So just keep that one to yourself. They can hold their peace.
And you allowed them to get on with it. And you call yourself his best man.
Well, when he asked me to be his best man, I said, all right, I'll do it. But on one stipulation, he said, what's that? I was like, you're going to hear exactly what I think about all this. And then you can tell me if you still want me to be your best man or not. I was like, I'm your brother. You're my brother. I love you, man. And I told him exactly what I thought about that wedding. And I know he wouldn't do anything different because all the kids. But,
yeah.
I wasn't wrong. I'll say that. I wasn't wrong.
But yeah, so apart from the wedding, which last week, we have an update with the bathroom. The
bathroom update.
Yes, the maintenance guy has shown up the last 2 times he said he was going to show up, and tomorrow is the last day. He put up the new section of drywall and he filled it in with like spackle or putty, whatever. Allowed it to dry. Today he came. This was last Friday. Today he smoothed it out and put down a few layers of primer. Tomorrow is going to be the painting and the replacement of the floor mold. And then my bathroom will be finished. After this has been a 3-week or 3-month process. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, the soggy ceiling
the
has
saga,
lasted
yes.
has lasted about 3 months or so.
Yeah.
That was where it started, right? Water coming out of the
ceiling fan.
Bathroom. Yeah.
Correct, yes. And then we've turned. It's just like, oh shit, it's coming through the fan. Nope, it's coming from under the fan between two 4x4. They opened up the ceiling. Oh, the pipe cracked.
And it's coming from a now illegal fitting.
From a now illegal fitting, which is still, I guess you could say, technically illegal because it's still the same shape. The only thing is it's no longer made with the 80s PVC. It's now made with modern PVC. So you have black plumbing, but with this white junction.
I don't know why, but that sounds really racially coded.
I know. As soon as I said that, it's just like, yep, this really racist junction right there in the middle.
There's a joke somewhere in there. I ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole.
At least it's good to know that both our minds went in the same direction. But apart from that, it was a 4-day weekend I had, and today was my first day back at work. I'm just like, I need more vacation time.
Oh, man. Vacation sounds nice.
Oh, I did start another play. Oh, okay. So, so that's all the boring stuff. Well, now we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this my time. So I tried to start playing Witcher 3, and I have
I saw some mentions that you made on Discord of this, and I'm curious to hear the more elaborate retelling.
Okay, so here's the more elaborate detail of what I think of Witcher 3. Terrible game.
Mic drop.
We should start a new section, whereas I pissed off Dalton even more.
Don't like Yakuza, don't like Witcher, won't play Chrono Trigger.
I won't play Yakuza just because out of spite, because I know it pisses off Dalton. That's the only reason I don't play it.
The real kicker is I genuinely think that if you actually played Yakuza, you would enjoy it.
Oh, I know for a fact I would enjoy it. But I just love annoying Dalton. It's just like, Yakuza. Stupid. But, okay, so here are the reasons. So the first day, I tried over 2 days. The first day I did about maybe 30 minutes. The first day, after 30 minutes, I just stopped playing because I could not get past Geralt's voice. I think it is just, that extreme 90s tough guy. It's just like, I'm Geralt. I'm a Witcher. I'm trying to be Dirty Harry.
So, what if... So, what if we replaced all of Geralt's voice lines with a redub by Duke Nukem?
Make it happen. Here's the thing. So I never watched the Witcher show, but everyone's just like, oh, Henry Cavill, he was great. So it's like, all right, what does Henry Cavill sound like in the show? So much better. If they made well, here's the thing. Okay, so at the first day, I stopped playing because of the voice. The next day, I told myself, I have to learn to get past the voice. So I did. So I ended up playing another hour. The next day I played an hour, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. And it's just like, all right, the voice, it is what it is. I can get over it. What actually was the last straw was the controls for that game are so idiotic. They are extremely loose, and they just don't make sense.
I can't defend the game. I have them all. I've never played any of them. I couldn't even get into the Witcher show. I watched the first probably 2 or 3 episodes and then fell off because I just couldn't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the opening sequence of the very first episode, loved it. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. And then it just didn't work.
It's funny. As soon as I went on Discord. I went on a few telling how I felt about the game, and when I said it's like the controls are just absolutely terrible, a lot of people are just like, yeah, the controls are pretty bad. So I was like, oh, okay, so I guess it's not that hot of a take. I don't know. It annoys me that it's just like, man, all these games with these high praises, I begin to play them. It's just like, wow, terrible. It's always for various reasons: controls, story, plot point. It's so to seek some comfort. I started my third playthrough of Mass Effect,
Like you do.
like I do, and that is such a much better.
Never played those either.
I recommend it.
The biggest thing I know about those, and, spoilers for Mass Effect, I guess, is that 3 games of decisions winds up to culminating in what color explosion you get in the ending.
Yes.
And when I found that out, I was like, no wonder the entire world is pissed off at the studio.
I'm not. Early spoiler warning. I think the trilogy is perfect. And I absolutely love the ending of the third game. It is actually my favorite in the series. Now,
Everyone's entitled to opinions.
Well, I think that's a pretty hot take, because when you talk about Mass Effect, it's like, oh, 2 is the best in this series. I'm just like, 2 is great, but 3 hits harder. It is the only one of the only games where ending credits played, and I teared up. Because, for 2 reasons. 1, that was absolutely perfect, and shit. Now there's no new. I mean, yes, I could play Andromeda. I could play Andromeda, and I've the only thing that can come out of that is just like, it's too middling to be anything. It's fine. That's all I hear. It's, obviously you'll have the extreme people. It's just like, oh man, this is a great game, or this game sucks. Overall, the one thing I hear most about it is it's fine, and sometimes that's even worse than playing a game that's terrible.
There's a whole lot of games in the AAA space that come out now that are just fine.
Yeah.
And I think when you're putting this many millions of dollars into a game, the customer deserves better than fine.
I agree. I absolutely agree. That's why I look forward to when you begin to play Red Dead 2, because that is more than fine. That game is going to go down in history as one of the greatest of all time. No pressure. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I guess that'll be the end of the podcast. Because I won't want to talk to you anymore.
The only thing I worry about is where it is such a big game that it's going to take me so long to get to the ending, because I'm not going to want to talk about it until I've actually rolled credits on it.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Which I sunk probably about 40 hours into Red Dead 1.
2 is much bigger.
Yeah, I know it's going to take a lot longer to run through 2.
That's why I'm not going to rush you. If you finish by the end of the year, fine. If we don't do the episode until next year, fine. I want you to take your time. I'm not asking you to fill out the compendium, which is like, find all the different animals, all the, fill the Pokedex, essentially, is what it is.
Oh, I will not walk into that game with a goal of 100%. I'm going to walk in with a goal of complete the main story and the side content that interests me.
Yes, I strongly recommend the Stranger Mission.
I know I had a lot of fun with the Stranger missions in Red Dead 1, which I'm assuming that's the same sort of thing, like the little...
Yes. You'll come across some random people, and some of them don't even show up as strangers. You could just walk to a building, and it's just like, oh, hey there, fella! Why don't you come on inside and join us for dinner? I'll just leave it at that. I want you to experience it.
Now, what I would love to con you...
Now, of course, Dalton, I know I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and you're going to be like, oh, wait, oh man, Jeff, that was a good one.
Now, what I'd love to manage to con you into playing is the Devil May Cry games.
That's just a quick-paced hack and slash sort of game, right? I mean, yes, obviously, I'm sure there's like some magic and whatnot, but it's mostly just like it's a hack and slash.
Surface level, yeah, but the controls are closer to like the depth of a fighting game, with the kinds of combos that you can pull off as you expand your moveset.
Well,
you play it on easier mode, you don't need it. So like,
I'm willing to try it out because I know that is your franchise.
Oh, I fucking love those games. They are so ridiculous. But
I am willing. Is there any remastered versions, or would I have to play like the
so there is a HD collection of the first 3 games.
perfect?
On which
what?
the 2 best most systems.
So I could
The
play on
only one,
PlayStation.
yeah, you could play it on the PlayStation.
All right.
If you played it on Switch, they re-released each of them individually because Nintendo bullshit. But every other platform, it's a 3 set.
Well, that I am willing to, because I know you would love to talk about that. I am willing to at least try the first game.
That's the thing. So, the first game has a lot of that Resident Evil DNA in it.
Okay.
And they essentially were creating a new genre when this game came out. It is a very, very niche and underserved one, but it was essentially the creator of the, I think they call them character action games. Bayonetta is in the same vein, Metal Gear Rising. The first one has some flaws that make it more difficult than it needs to be.
All right.
Primarily, there is not a mission select. The second game, don't play it. Number 2 was terrible. When it came out, I was like, great, they just killed the franchise. The third game is in a tie for the best of the franchise. Fourth game's solid, but it is going to be a standalone title. It's not part of any bundles.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth game is so fucking good that I still haven't figured out if I like 3 or 5 better. But that game is entirely fan service done in the best possible way.
Well, I am willing to try out the first game, and if I beat it, I am willing to do an episode with. If
Now,
not,
chronologically, the third game is the first in the story, and being
chronologically, Red Dead 2 is the first game.
Yeah, but I didn't have to pay for Red Dead 1. Hacked PS3, remember?
I'm just saying, chronologically, it makes zero difference. I'm fine with playing the prequel. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 is technically the prequel of the series, correct?
Yeah, I think chronologically it is the very first in the story. And by and large, everyone agrees the best in the franchise.
So, chronological makes zero difference. But I am willing to play the first game. If I love it, or if I beat it, I'm willing to do an episode with you. And I'm more than happy doing like a... If I do beat it, I'm willing to do it like a Devil May Cry, like one every year.
Like, if we did that, I would be content to do 3, 4, and 5. Because you do not play number 2.
Alright.
It's a terrible game, and as far as, like, overarching story, skipping it costs you nothing. And the hilarious part is, that is the only one of the games that Dalton's ever played. And he thought it was great.
I mean, you'll like what you like.
The first one is really rough around the edge.
But now, are you just talking about the original games, or this is the HD?
This is just like the game itself, regardless of whether you're playing the original on PlayStation 2 or the remaster or whatever. It's rough around the edges, and there's a lot of quality of life things that started in 2 that 1 would have really benefited from. But most of the core mechanical things that everyone associates with the series started in 3.
Alright.
Because that's where they just went fucking batshit with the action and the anime melodrama in the story. And it's, how Dante goes from being a punk-ass kid to a punk-ass badass.
As long as the game, for the most part, is playable. Like, Mass Effect 1, it is a very janky mess. And a lot of the, 2 improved the gameplay a lot. I still love 1. I thought 1 was... So...
the one thing that is really going to work in your favor if you play Devil May Cry 3 over when I played it, the HD remasters use the special edition of Devil May Cry 3, which has the difficulty settings mapped to the Japanese difficulty settings. When they ported the original game to America, they deleted easy mode and then just renamed everything and created a new extra hard mode. So American easy was Japanese normal. American normal was Japanese hard. And I played through the game the first time on American normal mode, which was Japanese hard mode.
Oh.
And got my shit kicked in the first 2 days. I didn't get past the second mission out of like 24.
Well, it's good to know because I usually just play on normal. Unless the game is absolutely kicking my ass, I almost never switch it to.
But it was one of the later PS2 titles, so the graphics for a PS2 game are still pretty good. But yeah, 3, 4, and 5 would be the ones that I would petition the hardest for to do on the show.
All right.
But if you don't like 3, 4 is a little more God of War because it gives a new protagonist with some different mechanics. And then the 5th game actually has 3 playable characters that you go through the game as. And you swap between them. Which kind of messed me up because just when I'm getting in the swing of playing as Nero, now I got to play as V. Because you got one dude who has a mechanical arm that has tons of attachments that are expendable. You have V who commands 3 demons to do his fighting for him. And you are just essentially skirting the edge of the battle arena while making those do the fighting for you. And then you have Dante who has like 8 different weapons between melee and ranged, 4 different fighting styles, and just so many different combos it blows your brain out. Your asshole. And there's just so much to keep track of. And you can't just play through the game start to finish as one. That was my only complaint on 5. If it wasn't for that, it would be hands down the best in the series. With no contest.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm willing to
But we're
give
not
it a
here
chance.
to talk about But we're not here to talk about Devil May Cry.
We're here as a final attempt for me to actually push you into buying American Truck Simulator. And based on everything you've told me, I don't know. I don't know if I convinced you or not. Well, we'll get there.
You may have hindered your cause.
I may have hindered my cause, but you have to admit the actual like. So, in case you didn't read the title, we are talking about the 1998 movie Black Dog, starring Patrick Swayze. And this was my final attempt because it's like, hey, you learned it's like I can drive the Pork Chop Express, and
So,
then
I do want to go on the record. I will get the game and I will play it.
as a Pork Chop
I missed
Express.
the big, yes, as the Pork Chop Express exclusively. The only reason I haven't yet was by like 3 hours, I missed the big sale on Steam that it just had recently. Whereas like you could get the base game and all of the DLC for like $60 grand total or something like that.
Yeah.
I think like base game was $5 or some shit. And I saw that pop up in my notifications. I'm like, holy shit, I guess now's the time. And then I finished my shift. I got home and it didn't notify me when the sale was new. It notified me when the sale was almost over. And by the time I got home and went to actually buy it, it had gone back up to regular price. I said, fuck that noise.
Yeah,
I'll come back later.
because $60 is a lot more palatable than buying each state when it's like $10 to $12 each. And yes, I bought each state individually. So
I think looking at it now, like the only option, at least through Steam, is like 3 separate bundles of states. I don't even know if it's
I think you got like Southwest, Pacific Northwest, of those areas, which is still a good section of the map, but that's still only I think like a quarter of the map. Whereas at this point, the most recent state that just got released it was Missouri, and the next state I think that's going to be released.
Now, I drove Missouri in real life. I remember driving out there and just being so upset by how straight everything was. Because I live in the mountains of North Carolina. I'm used to everything being up, down, left, and right all at the same time. You can never see more than a mile down the road in any given direction. And that's, on a relatively straight stretch.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun to drive once they release North Carolina and the Appalachians.
So, we didn't have any errors brought to our attention, so this week for Haha Dalton found an error. It's just Dane fucked up the intro of this episode.
1 hour of conversation. None of you are ever going.
Not a word. I might yank one random thing out of context and stick it as a stinger at the end.
Hell yes.
And with obviously there's missing dialogue here.
It's gonna be very
just 5
one-sided.
solid minutes of Jeff going, "Yeah, really? Shit, I didn't know that."
That's the extent of my dialogue. I don't contribute much. I'm just like, yes. Oh, fascinating.
So, we did watch Black Dog and our mandatory internet article blurb, this time taken from the movie database, as usual. An ex-con takes a job driving a truck cross-country. What he doesn't know is the truck is filled with illegal weapons, and now he must fight to survive and save his family. And that pretty much covers everything as far as plot in this movie is concerned, except character names.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing there's no moral or anything like that. Literally, it is Patrick Swayze, Jack Cruz, is a ex-con who was involved in an trucking accident, which led to him going to prison for vehicular manslaughter, and he loses his CDL license, and he has to basically do an illegal job without a license because his house is going to get foreclosed in a week, and he needs the money in order to keep him from losing his house. So it's all right, it's very noble, and of course the entire time it's just manslaughter, or why did he lose his license? All this stuff. So, and eventually it's something you learn. When there's 30 minutes left of the movie, because he encountered the Black Dog, which is an hallucination that causes truckers to basically get off their high horse and make them humble. Essentially, that's what it is. It gives truckers a kicking.
The whole "you saw the Black Dog" scene at the end, near the end of the movie. I was watching that, and I'm like, okay, so we've got the title drop. We've seen little flashes of this Black Dog scene earlier in the movie. This has to be a really big deal, and we're going to get something actually in depth out of this plot. And by the time the scene was over, I'm like, what? that entire everything about that scene was just kind of a swing and a miss. I'm like, is this something that is a thing in trucker culture, and I'm just completely unplugged and don't know what the fuck is going on?
I'm not sure. It is a folklore that dates back. Let's see if I can find it. Celtic. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Is this the Grimm from Harry Potter?
I mean, one thing that it mentions is some examples of it is Cerberus.
Okay.
So it's just so many different interpretations of this. I mean, there's a Greek example, there's Norse, there's Welsh, there's Celtic. So there's different interpretations of this folklore that may or may not continue with truck drivers. It's hard to say. But that's not what this movie is about. This movie is about practical truck car chases.
Yeah, I think 70% of the runtime is people playing bumper cars in big rigs.
And it is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not going to bury the lead. So, watching this movie for me, everything on paper said I should have had a great time with this movie, and I liked all of the individual pieces that made it up. Even the "what the fuck was that all about" Black Dog scene. But when it all came together, it was just kind of a okay whole for me.
Yeah.
But the things that I absolutely loved was the practical effect stunt work in these cars.
And I believe I read this somewhere. It may have been IMDb. I don't know. It was an actual interview. Patrick Swayze got a CDL license so he can do the proper truck driving. And
That is a level of commitment that I did not expect out of this film.
I think he continued to be a truck driver. That I don't know, but I'll look it up. Yeah, I'm lazy.
Yeah, Swayze was a trucker the same way that Steven Seagal's a cop.
There you go. Perfect. Good analogy.
It's technically true.
But yeah, so you are right. The movie as a whole, it doesn't mesh well, or it doesn't connect perfectly. You know, there are some weak links. Possibly it's the whole conspiracy of, like, who's talking to Red? You know, it was played by Meatloaf. It's like,
Which, when I saw Meatloaf in the opening credits, that was my moment of, okay, I'm in for this movie.
and he's
you didn't
fantastic.
have me at Swayze, you had me at Meatloaf.
And he's fantastic in this movie. He's basically the ultimate villain at the.
All right, we'll get there for the end.
But so where do you want to go? So yeah, it's like I think the whole it's like conspiracy of who's working for Red, and you find out that one of them is working for the FBI. That I think that might be
Sonny.
That might be the weakest part of the movie. But everything else, you know, like the whole FBI talking to ATF. One of them is played by Stephen Tobolowsky. You know, that's always wonderful to see him, and his character is hilarious because the FBI guy is just like supposed to be this really angry person. It's just like, what the hell is the matter with you? And Tobolowsky's just like, I'm sensing some very negative feelings coming from you.
You're from the ATF. What does that stand for? Alcohol, tobacco, and fuck-ups.
That actually shocked me because I have never seen this movie beyond television before. And the fact that the first 5 minutes of a 90s PG-13 movie is fuck-ups, I was just like, oh, wow. And of course, it's like the only swear in the entire movie. So I was
They
okay.
used it beautifully.
They did. So I was like, okay, I guess you got to get your PG-13 somehow.
It's like how they said on Samuel L. Jackson being in the Marvel movies until the post-credit scene of Infinity War before he got his "what the fuck," and then they cut him off.
Huh. I just realized something.
What's that?
Kevin Nash is in this.
Shit, I didn't even notice Kevin Nash.
He played Norman.
Damn. See, that was... I know the name, and I'm familiar with who he is, but I was not into wrestling when Kevin Nash was...
Well, now you need to watch it and figure out where he is.
The thing is, as soon as you said that, I had him in my mind. I'm like, shit, I think I remember seeing him in that movie. And it just did not register.
I couldn't tell you.
I thought it was hilarious. They had Randy Travis playing Earl.
Yeah, Randy Travis is in this. It always
Riding shotgun and writing country songs, and Patrick Swayze being like, I don't follow country music.
But he's pissed off the entire time because he was hoping he would get to drive. And actually, here's some of the things that makes this movie wonderful to me. Well, I'll go back to what I was saying before. One thing that always makes me laugh is how short Patrick Swayze. Because when he stands next to his wife, who is played by Brenda Strong, who is taller than him, it's just like, wow, that's like Tom Cruise height.
Well, Swayze wasn't famous for being tall.
No, but one thing that always makes me laugh is the continuity edits in this movie are absolutely terrible. Are very noticeable. Like a prime example, during the first car chase when Sonny and Wes are driving a Camaro and they're being chased by the Monte Carlo, and they launch over the hill, and you can clearly see like the front of the Camaro get trashed, and then the next cut, it's in perfect condition.
Well, I think one big problem with that was where they were doing everything practical.
Yeah.
They had their order of stunts, and it didn't matter what kind of damage the vehicle took. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Swap in the backup that we got and keep going.
Yes. One thing apparently that I never noticed, but this is stuff that I've read in comments. So one of the things that the movie talks about is like the engine for the, and Patrick Swayze even says it later in the movie. It's just like, ain't nothing better than a Caterpillar. You know, the truck they're driving has a Caterpillar engine, and the only time you actually hear the Caterpillar engine is right when you first see it driving out of the garage. After everything after that, apparently it's Detroit diesel, and you can clearly see there's a change in trucks because the exhaust are at different heights. And I never noticed it until like a few years ago when I started reading this. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, as previously established, whether we caught it on audio or not, I'm not a car guy. So shit like that goes over my head.
I know, but I've seen this movie so many times growing up, and I always caught these things, but I never caught the oh, this is actually at a completely different why, I don't know. Probably because the truck that that you first see it was maybe someone else's personal truck, and then after that it's just like, oh yeah, so this is the stunt truck. Okay, it's, now that I notice, it's completely noticeable that these are two different.
So, I think my like plot wise as like the things unfold. So, you know, the FBI and ATF are apparently watching this entire ordeal and tracking because they got an FBI agent secretly in this little group of 4 guys as they're trucking this load.
Oh, we never mentioned they're hauling illegal guns. Which also, this is another one of those continuity things. It's just like AK-47 Chinese assault rifle. It's Russian.
Yeah, it could be the Chinese knockoff that. But yeah, I caught that and I'm like, is it an AK or is it Chinese, man? Pick your lane. But my biggest like, oh, that was good moment is FBI agent tells them they're going to get you at the end of the line. I was FBI, and then he dies. So, Cruz, Swayze's character, they're at a diner, and he tries to call the FBI, and he's like, put me in touch with whoever's the head of the investigation of, this, that. You've got a man down, put me through to whoever's in charge. And the fact that the people on the phone just won't tell him anything and won't pass him to anybody, and he ends up hanging up in frustration.
Yeah.
Was probably the most real thing in the entire movie.
Yeah, he's just like, the hell with this.
And then he sits down and they're like, so I'm going to do this. I'm running this to the end. I got to get my wife and my daughter. If you're with me, let me know. If you're not, go. And the young guy who had been betraying them all along is like, I'm out. And then Randy Travis's character is like, am I going to get paid at the end of this? Probably not.
Yeah, I have nothing better to do anyway.
Definitely had the, well, you're my fucking ride vibes.
Yes.
So when the kid is like, I want out, it's like, all right, fine, but you got to do something for me. And then they cut over and he's hitching a ride with another trucker and he's getting ready to head back towards the direction of home. And they had found the GPS tracker that the agent had planted in the truck that they had been monitoring the whole time. Swayze slaps on the truck and lets him go. And I thought, oh wow, he didn't bother to tell the kid. That's funny. So I just thought this was his way of getting back at him for all the bullshit that this kid inadvertently put them through by putting red on their tail the entire fucking movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely has something to do.
And then as they're heading down, they're like, oh shit, we probably missed the drop. We got to move now. And they surround this truck and that poor trucker's like, what the fuck's going on? And the kid comes out and he's got his hands up and he, I'm pretty sure if they'd panned back a little bit, he is pissing himself.
Oh, I guarantee.
But he's got his, the product placement Nokia phone that they've been flashing for the camera the entire movie. He's like, it's for you. And he hands it over to the FBI agent and there's Swayze on the other end of the line. And that was his big plan to finally get in touch with him. I'm like, shit, that was actually pretty smooth.
That's a smart plan. Because, it's just like, okay, I'll try calling again. I'm just getting the whole you're just shuffling me around again. You're not helping me. I have information. You're not allowing me to share that information. Okay, I'm gonna have you call me. So yeah.
And speaking as somebody who has tried to get a hold of law enforcement for important shit before, like I said, that was the most 100% uncomfortably real scene I've ever seen put to film of, no, people are dead. More people are going to be dying. I have illegal guns. My family isn't staying.
I know where the guns are going. Oh, that's nice, sir.
I know who killed Kennedy. Put me through to somebody. We know who did it too. It was CIA.
So let me ask you, what was your favorite chase?
I think it was... I can't remember if it was the second or the third one, but where the other three trucks were trying to box them in.
That's the second one.
Second one. That was the one I had the most fun in, and it's the one where Swayze is just really hamming it up on, yeah, see, it's just like I told you, you gotta use the gear right and use the brakes just the right amount.
Yeah, remember what I told you about braking right and gearing down just right? Yeah, tisk, tisk. And of course it ends with one of the trucks that were trying to box him in going through a, like one of those portable trailers, like, well, what are the hell those things are called? Those houses on wheels.
It's a single wide trailer.
Single wide trailer. It ends up going, like, flipping through the air. It's just like, hell yeah.
Yeah, makes one jackknife, loses his trailer, and then that dude is just out of control, and he's like, man, if he can't catch that gear, he's gonna be in trouble.
Then the other two, one ends up driving down a mountainside, and then the other one ends up driving through a gas station and blowing up by going through a gas tanker.
Like, there were just so many ridiculous explosions.
And after each and every one of these chases, it's just you see Meatloaf just like, damn boy could never drive. Junior,
yeah,
never underestimate the power of prayer. You know, he's one of those guys. So it's just like, there's the button on a perfect scene.
Yeah, and like the ending scene with Meatloaf, him just shouting random lines from scriptures. Like, that's going to make him drive.
Well, it did for a while, and then he ended up also flipped through a warehouse, and then he collides with a train, and he blows up.
And yeah, whenever a train hits any vehicle, they don't just kind of come to a stop pretty quick.
Well, that's what's great about this, because this train, after it blew up the truck, it continued going for like another 10 seconds. You can hear it just like applying the brakes, even at slow speeds. It's just like, I can't stop.
It still came to a stop faster than any train possibly could have. Because, like, I know that trains only get up to like 30 miles an hour, but where there's so much to them, it takes like 2 miles to complete stop.
Well, sure. But you also have to remember that this train they were in the New Jersey port, and that train was probably only going about 10, 15 miles per hour, so that's why it stopped much quicker than it probably should have.
I think the biggest mistake the movie made was the final chase with Meatloaf was probably the most lackluster one in the whole film.
Yeah, I could see. I think the third one is the one I don't really care for the most, because the first chase is all right. We're being chased by a car, with shotguns, and it's like, their plan was, knock out the Sonny and Wes in the Camaro, and then we're gonna shoot out the tires. And it's just like, nope. Jack is a smarter person than that. Then we have the second chase with the trucks. Then we had the third chase with the motorcycles and Red showing up. And then the last chase with Red in the truck as well. I always think the third one is the most lackluster.
It was, to me, less of a chase and more of a just kind of action sequence where they are boarding the truck. So,
well, yes,
I see the escalation of these as action sequences of, all right, car versus car and truck, 3 trucks versus just the truck, 2 motorcycles. We are now on the truck. We have men on board with guns, and they're actually hitting people now. Because, like, that's when Sonny gets killed, and Jack actually takes a shot in the arm.
Yes, and we actually see him cauterize the wound with a bullet powder.
Yeah, that was actually kind of neat.
Also, real life continuity error. When the guy in the back of the truck starts messing with the hoses, he pulls the air supply from the trailer. In real life, if you pull the air supply from trailers, the wheels are supposed to automatically lock up.
Movie logic.
Movie logic.
But the only real escalation of stakes with that final sequence was Swayze's in the truck and he has his family in there with him. As far as like just the action itself, I felt like it was the weakest chase in the film.
I get it.
It was still entertaining watching Meatloaf chewing the scenery as he was, spouting off his random
I'm shocked.
verses.
I'm shocked there was a truck left after that scene.
Yeah, you'd think that the production would have burned through them all by that point.
I mean, you could clearly see already Meatloaf had chewed off the right front headlight. He just chewed right through it. People will say...
Barely had a steering wheel left.
I mean, people will say, no, it was the 2 trucks colliding with one another. No, it was Meatloaf chewing the truck.
Chewing those scenes.
But yeah, I get it. The movie as a whole, it feels a bit like it's missing something. But when you separate the movie into segments, like you separate the scene, the way station scene, when you separate and stuff like that, I get it. It's just like, these are great scenes. The movie but the movie as a whole is...
I think it was a case of either the script needed one more pass to polish the plot that was supposed to link together their big set pieces, or just a little bit better editing to kind of bring it together into a tighter whole. But, yeah. Individual pieces, it was great work, and I had fun with it.
It also helps that it's only it's 97 minutes.
Yeah. It's really hard to fault any movie that comes in the ballpark of that sweet 90-minute point.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just trying to think. Oh, I was going to make a joke. It's just like at the end, the final chase scene between Jack and Red, the only reason why the stakes are a little bit higher is because his family's with him. Also, Tiny the black dog is with them as well. It's just like, so that was the black dog the entire time. The one that gets locked up in the trailer.
One gag I had jotted down for Meatloaf. And I will kill anyone for gun. Yeah, that was the extent of my comedic mastery.
I never looked it up. What is a Sunday throwaway?
Fuck if I know.
Because that was when Red or when we first see Earl, Randy Travis pull up. It's like, where have you been? Did you get my Sunday throwaways or Sunny throwaways? It's like, these things are these coupons are only good for today.
Fuck if I know. I completely missed all that shit.
Am I thinking? Is it even the right thing? Am I? Oh dear.
I honestly don't know.
It really doesn't matter. It's just one of those things. It's like, what is that? I never looked it up.
Well, maybe someone will figure it out for us and they can hit us with a haha found an error correction. It's this, dumbasses.
Yeah, probably. What? A common phrase referring to anticipatory anxiety and dread many people feel on Sundays as the weekend ends and the work week. What does that have to do with coupons?
Beats me.
Meatloaf, were you on drugs? That man was on drugs.
So,
I do love the chase music.
Chase music was good.
I'm trying to... I don't remember who... Oh, actually, no, I could look it up because I listen to it a lot on YouTube. But yeah, no, it's... I get your issues with it, but at the same time, I love this movie. This is one of my favorites just because, it's short... It's fun, it's got good action with the chase scenes. I mean, even the shootout at the end, it's pretty good. I love this movie. It's fun. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It. Even you said so yourself. It's fun.
This is the sort of thing that if you're wanting a mindless, kind of chase sequence action movie, like this is the sort of movie you can't go wrong with. Like, hey, I don't want to have to care about the plot. All right, that's fine. Don't have to worry about it. It's very simple, straightforward stakes. There's nothing convoluted. Even the whole who's stabbing us in the back plot is really short-lived because the time between their suspicions and we know who done it is less than like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's even the whole it's like the conspiracy is just like who's selling the or who's selling out to stuff like that. It's like it doesn't. Who cares?
And it's the sort of thing because this is the kind of movie that the fact that they kept finding them, like this was the type of movie I didn't even question it. I just accepted it as okay. It's this kind of movie. They're just going to kind of periodically catch up with them on the road from time to time.
Yes.
And why doesn't matter. And the movie actually bothered to be like, no, one of them's giving away their location. That's how they keep finding them. Like, okay, that's a question I didn't have that I wasn't asking, but it's nice to know that the movie actually thought about it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't thinking about it. Like, you can tell when it's a plot where you need to, like, really question, like, wait, why is this going on? Why does this keep happening?
Why did
Because there are movies where that's conspicuous. This is clearly not the type of movie that's conspicuous about.
No, it's not that kind of movie. It's just like, listen, this is a 90-minute movie. Do you like big trucks? Do you like chases? Do you like action? There you go.
It's like, if you want something to go see practical chase sequences, this is a good movie to get that from.
Yes. This is actually, from what it says, this was, or, hold on. This might be not a good thing to say. Never mind. The point is, this is one of the final movies one of these action chase movies that uses practical effect. I mean,
because even with movies like the Matrix sequels, where they had some really interesting chase sequences that were done semi-practically,
yeah,
they were still going in post and adding other cars on the road that weren't there for filming.
Well, even for the most part, the 2000 version Gone in 60 Seconds with Nick Cage, a lot of that was practical as well. Yes, there are a few moments where they had to throw in the CG, but for the most part,
this is the point where they had adding in shit digitally was not feasible. Certainly not in budget.
They didn't have the budget, right?
It was cheaper to blow up cars than it was to run a computer.
And only really not a lot of vehicles get blown up. So yeah, it's fun. That's all it is. If you like fun action car chase movies, this is your movie. You're going to have a good time because Patrick Swayze, he's fun. I mean, yeah, I think he might be trying a little too hard in some moments, but he's fun. But the star of the show is
absolutely. So, is there anything else you want to talk about with this movie, or you want to kind of segue into the final thoughts?
One of my favorite lines is from Wes. Believe it or not, it's after the first fill up. Right before the first car chase, Wes walks out of a gas station store, and this blonde woman walks by him. He's like, "Hello, come to Papa." I always like that line.
I distinctly remember that scene and going, yeah, you have a character do that in a movie today, something bad is immediately going to happen to him after.
Well, he always pisses his pants because he was shot 2 years ago.
Oh.
But yeah, he deserves it because he's a henchman. He's working for Red. Yeah.
And the fact that they, even were sitting down eating with him at the fucking diner after all that shit.
He still has the gall to say, "I'm out." It's like, wow, dude.
He had the gall to think that he had a say on whether he was staying.
I do wonder if he was arrested or not. The movie doesn't explain it, but I have a feeling Patrick Swayze is just like, yeah, I don't care what you do.
Do I have to look at him again? No. Then I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit. But I gave you my final thoughts. It's a fun movie. Watch it. It's 97 minutes long. It's got Meatloaf, for fuck's sakes.
So, I want to try a stab at a new grading scale that I've been thinking on. It's really, really technical.
Okay.
And if you want to, you can grade it on this scale. We might never pull this again. Don't know. We'll see if it sticks. So, on the scale from don't watch to must watch. So, 4 points. Don't, could, should, must. I'm going to put this on a could watch. Like, it's not in the realm of this is something I feel like someone has to see. It's not bad. I had fun with it. I certainly didn't have any complaints the whole time I was watching it. I never thought, man, I wish this movie would just be over. But when it was done, it was, like I said, less than the sum of its parts. And I think that, any individual scene of this movie could be watched out of context, especially the chases. And you're going to get just as much fun out of them as you do watching the movie start to finish.
I mean, if you're not going to watch the damn movie, at the very least, watch the car chases. They're all on YouTube. They're very well done. They're fun sets. They're fun sequences. But the movie as a whole, you said you should watch this.
So you're giving it a should watch.
I'm giving this. You should watch. Like I said, it's not great. This isn't Citizen Kane. We're talking here. It's just a fun short movie. One of the fun last movies that uses actual practical effects completely, without the use of computer. Because after this, everything starts becoming. They start using CGI, like you said with the Matrix. Even as they have the highway car chase in the second movie. I guarantee not one bit of that was practical. Maybe the bike.
About one, I can't remember if it was 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 cars were practical. But they did go in and basically double the number of cars on the highway for that particular scene.
Yeah.
I really got into the Matrix movies, even the bad ones. I watched a bunch of the behind the scenes shit on those.
But yeah, this is one of the last movies that uses practical effects completely. Meatloaf is a treasure. Good music. It's got Kevin Nash somewhere hidden, which is weird.
He's in there somewhere.
He's in there somewhere, which is amazing because he's a tall man. You should watch.
Well, I'm giving it a could. It is not a strike against it as being a bad movie. It's just one of those, you know what, if it's an option, you can go for it. You're not going to have a bad time with it. You're not going to hate the movie. But, like I said, everything that's in it, I felt I could have watched it separate from the context of the film and would have had just as much fun with it.
Well, I'll put it like this. I'll stand by. You should watch this with the caveat of, it's available for free on streaming. Whatever streaming service you have, give it a watch. If it's not available anywhere and you have to pay for it, wait until it becomes. I mean, I paid to rent this, which was $3.79 Prime. I
borrowed it from Mr. Bay.
I think it's free on Tubi, if you have Tubi. But otherwise, if you ever see it free, you should watch this. If it's not free, give it time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So, I guess that leaves, what are we going to do next?
Well, this was my pick. Next episode is yours. Please, enlighten me.
And Jeff is just as much in the dark as everyone listening because I've not even give him any hints because I didn't figure out what I was thinking for our next episode until about half an hour before I realized I wasn't recording. So 30 minutes into what we've been talking.
That's what I said. You're fuck up.
So not 30 minutes before we started recording, 30 minutes after we started, but before I started. And
you're definitely gonna have to put a little side thing in here. It's just like Black Dog, Dane fucks up.
So, Jeff, I feel like we've been playing things kind of safe. You know, Black Dog, that was solid action. Nothing to complain about. We did 2 very clearly perfect picks for video game movies before this that caused no controversy at all on Discord.
Of course not.
Excellent Kurt Russell movies. You can't go wrong with Kurt Russell. Tombstone, Big Trouble in Little China. We've been playing it safe for a couple months. So I want to get a little controversy. I want to get something spicy. I want to get something that has been banned from places. All right?
All right. That's a lot of things, so I'm excited. I'm on edge.
So for our next episode, I'm proposing that we enjoy Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, the 80s version of the D&D rulebooks? Is that what Dane's talking about? No. I'm talking about Season 2, Episode 14, the banned episode from Netflix and Hulu of the Dan Harmon show Community.
I've never watched Community, so I'm...
I don't think not knowing the characters hurts this show at all. It is... Dan Harmon is on record as saying he understands why the episode was banned from streaming services, but that he maintains it is still the best episode of the show, which had, I think, a 6 or 7 season run.
So I'm not going to be able to find this episode anywhere on Netflix or Prime. I'm going to have to do some searching, unless you can provide me with a link.
I'm just going to send it to you.
Okay.
I'm just going to send it to you because I've got it. But yeah, for reasons that we will cover next time when we record, this episode was banned from Netflix, and I believe it was taken off of Hulu. But not all streaming services that carry the show banned this episode.
I'm looking forward to figure out why this is a band. Because obviously they've probably done stuff that's just like, wow, that is... I'm assuming it's because it's not...
No. Like I said, we'll get into it. We'll save that for next time. But next time, just a single episode of a TV show.
All right.
The most controversial, the banned one. And I think that's all we've got. So if you've listened this long, one, probably not as big of an accomplishment as normal since we lost a full hour of content
Stuff that
we refused to re-record.
You're never going to hear. It's going to be... it's going to lost to the ether of time.
Stories that will never come up again. We do not repeat ourselves here on Dane and Jeff's Media Dump.
All the jokes, you're not going to hear them. I mean, the insightful advice that Dane gave me that made me look at life in a whole new light. You're never going to hear it.
Yeah, it's gone.
The only
I think it would be hilarious if I didn't edit out the hour of one-sided conversation.
Well, I think the only thing you should do is just like, for the Stainer, is just throwing me, just going, just throwing a couple of that.
Or just like every time you snickered while I was going off on some random tangent, just...
That'll be about 15 minutes worth. 15 minutes worth of Stainer, just me giggling.
But if you've made it this far, you're awesome. Thank you so much. So, I've been Mr. Puzzles. He's been Grumpy Jeff. You've been the audience. Thank you so much for showing up. Jeff, as always, I ask, do you have anything you want to leave our lovely listeners with?
I'm trying to think of a quote from this movie. That's what I usually do in situations like... So the only thing I can really say is, "You're finished, Cruz!" Meatloaf.
You saw the black dog.
That would have been better.
What the fuck does that even mean? Oh. Good night, Jeff.
Good night, Dave.
Our theme song is Moonpath by Nile The Nightmare. You can find a link to that track as well as his full discography in the show notes or by visiting nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. Want to hang out with us and a bunch of other entertaining degenerates? Join us on Discord at bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all caps. Enjoy the show, rate us where you're at, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Hashtag who gives a fuck.